Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome to Dream Chasers Adventures in Happiness, where my band of superhero guests and I share with you tales of daring do, life-changing journeys towards living our best lives. If you're after an injection of inspiration and ideas to live the life that you want and deserve, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hi there, and welcome to the show where we serve up conversation, concepts, and belief that it is entirely possible to create what you crave. If there's something stopping you from pursuing happiness, whatever that looks like to you from a career or lifestyle point of view, the stories and insights covered here are designed to help. Now, today I am joined by my brilliant friend and client, Cara Leach. Now, I first met Cara when I was out in Amsterdam for my old job. A client CEO had invited me to a staff party to celebrate their new office space, and Cara could see that I barely knew a soul and immediately came over, introduced me to all of her work friends, and really involved me in the whole evening, and I've never forgotten it. And it just shows what kind of person she is and why we've been friends ever since. Now, Cara has always been a career woman, setting an example to her two daughters, who she raised for many years as a single mum. She's a sales and marketing whiz and has worked in sectors as varied as tech, pharmaceuticals and sport. And most recently, she was brand ambassador and commercial manager for Marine Football Club. But she has just embarked on a pretty massive and brave change. At 49 years old, Cara has made the decision to semi-retire. So she and her partner Phil are going to rent out their house in Merseyside for 12 months, and they're embarking on a huge travel adventure, which they're going to document along the way, warts and all. So today we're going to talk about Cara's bold decision to semi-retire, what the triggers for that decision were, the travel plans that she and Phil have and what she wants to get out of it, and how really she wants to inspire people with her honest and fairly humorous account of their experience along the way. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Cara.
Hooray! Hello.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Fabulous.
Now, before we talk about this pretty momentous decision that you've made, could you just give our listeners a bit of a brief overview of your career history? Like, what kinds of roles have you been doing, and how much have you enjoyed it or not?
Oh, now that'd be telling. I don't want to sound too corporate, so I'm going to try and make it snappy. So yes, I've worked in designer, set out being a designer for Adidas and Umbro, lived in Germany for X amount of years. Then went to work in a tech company where we met in the Netherlands. Various roles there, even started looking at like contracts, which is so not me. And then came back to the UK to put my kids through UK education, British education, and then did sales and marketing for nursery accessories companies, pharmaceutical companies, SMEs. And yeah, like you said, just ended up working then for the past 2 years as commercial manager and brand ambassador for a football club, grassroots.
So you have done a whole variety of things in different settings, in different countries, and like from a career point of view, did you enjoy it?
I love meeting people. I love traveling. I probably shouldn't have stayed in some jobs as long as I did do, but because of the circumstances, I had to. But you know what? I always try to make it fun. And make it fun for those people around me. So yeah, and as long as I was learning, as long as I wasn't banging my head against a brick wall, but I knew when the time was right to leave.
Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting, right? But so unlike a lot of the guests I have on here, you've had this varied career, and you've quite enjoyed it. And like you said, I mean, some things are better than others, but you've kind of you've made the most of it. You've made it fun. So you've made this decision to semi-retire at the age of 49, which is pretty unusual. Can you talk about the triggers that helped you come to that decision? Like, what made you rethink your next move and choose to step out of the norm rather than just going and getting the next job?
So a couple of things, really strong things, is my mum has been ill for the past 2 years. My dad passed away last year. I've got a partner who's 67. My kids are both at university now. And you know what? I could carry on slogging a job and doing the same status quo and have a beautiful life. but I'd be bored out of my head. So, and so it's time for me and Phil now to maximize our time and really go for it and do all those things that we see everybody else doing, but we've been restricted, not been able to, you know?
So that's really bold. So you're doing it in part, like you said, you've had like illness and with your parents, and you lost your dad, and now you're an empty nester. But you want to make the most of the time now that you've got with Phil, your partner, rather than wait, which a lot of us do, like a lot of people do. So most people kind of wait for retirement, and and it's sort of pushed off to some far off time in the future. But you've decided you're going to do it now.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I might pick up something on the way. I might do something, remarkable in a different country. I'm not saying I'm not going to do anything, but right now it's like, let's have some fun, and let's really go for fun as we want to do it, not as society determines it needs to be. We know spring chickens, we know like media gurus with like our iPhones taking like beautiful photos. It's just kind of like, let's just document this, because I know that I've got some good friends that are watching us to see. We might do that, but we're watching you make all the mistakes first.
Brilliant. All right, well, we'll come on to that a bit later. Let's talk about your travel adventure plans then, right? So you've made this decision. Like, what have you already done? And what have you got planned? And is there anything that you've learned already from the steps that you've taken so far?
Oh, shed loads of steps that we've done wrong. So basically, I think I gave up my job. The kids went. I rehomed my animals. We rented the house out in the space of 4 weeks.
Wow.
So packing all this house up was, I was burned out. So we just went to the warmest place in Europe, and we went to Rhodes. Beautiful. We decided to stay for an extra week, and then we decided to stay for an extra week, and then we felt the house had fallen through, so we had to come back. So the plans were then, let's go to India, which is in the east, but then daughter's in the States, in LA. So then we'd have to travel over there for Christmas. Then we'd come back. So we're in this phase now of, right, okay, where do we go? What do we do? So rather than stay here, I think 2 weeks we've been back, and we've just booked a last minute all-inclusive to go to Egypt tomorrow. Because it's like, whilst we're making these decisions, let's do it somewhere warm, chase the sun, and just enjoy ourselves.
So this is fascinating, right? Because again, most people, if they were planning this kind of thing, or I say most people, I imagine most people would have it all planned out. Like there would be a spreadsheet, there would be a plan. It's a serious decision. And it sounds like what you guys are doing is almost like following the fun. Like you're in the moment, making decisions as it feels right.
Well, yeah, we'd love to be as spontaneous as we thought we were when we first set out. But these things like, travel insurance, 30 days, 60 days, world, there's where you get your medication from, HRT, hello, I'm there, and things like visas, vaccinations. So you can't just hop from, say, Greece to India and then let's go to, Thailand, and then let's go back. It's just like, okay, we need to have a little bit of a methodical plan, loose plan. Let's not
loose plan. Yeah,
I hate too much planning.
So you're going to go. You're going to Egypt, and from there you're planning on plotting it rather than staying where you are. You're going to plot out what your next moves are, basing
Probably
it around where you might be for Christmas.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Christmas we're going to be in the States at least for either 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And then we come back, and the plan is to definitely go far east for a good couple of months, and then see friends in New Zealand and Australia. So yeah. Okay. So with this kind of change that you've made, like how have you coped getting your head around it? Because like you're embarking on this kind of journey after, I've known you for years, and you've been very career focused, very high energy, you're like high focused person. How have you found that change? Like, has it been easy, middling, difficult? You know what? Some days it is really difficult because I'm so used to going a million miles an hour and thinking like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And even at the dentist chair the other day, I was sat there and I'm thinking, God, this time I was in this chair, I was thinking I need to do a million one things. Whereas now I don't have to do those million one things unless it's being selfish. And that feels really weird. So the feeling of not having to do stuff for other people all the time is quite crazy. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying being like a child again and exploring stuff and having mini adventures. It is like being a kid again, to be fair, actually. And I'm really enjoying that aspect and not feeling guilty for it. That's the weird thing. It's like I want to have fun, and I say I want to dance here or I want to go to this, and it's let's just do it. Not to say that me and Phil sometimes don't have different opinions about what fun is.
Well, yeah, that comes into it, right? Because there's two of you.
Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah.
But
okay.
And that's been great again, because without kind of all of the noise of work and kids and other external pressures, it's been nice to kind of say to Phil, oh, yeah, I forgot that you're my boyfriend, Oh, I quite like you. Quite get on with you.
So has it had an impact? Like, has it had a direct impact? I mean, I know it's only early days yet, but has it had a positive impact on the on your relationship?
Yeah, definitely. It's like rediscovering who he is again. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, yeah, because I haven't got as many frustrations or anger tips or whatever. So he's not in the firing line when I walk through that door or when he's on the end of the phone. So it's really bizarre now, really bizarre. And actually planning things to do together rather than constantly being separately, functioning in parallel for years, but not being together.
That's a really brilliant way of putting it. That was exactly what me and my husband were like years ago. Like ships that passed in the night that on two separate tracks, kind of eventually coming together once in a while when our diaries didn't clash.
Yeah, and you know that you chose that person for a reason to be with. You just can't bloody remember why when you're going through the motions.
Yeah. This is it's brilliant. So what kind of reaction have you had out of interest from like friends and family members and just people saying you're doing this?
Well, you know what? It's really weird. Some people are like, yeah, go for it. We want to use you as an example. And some people are saying kind of like how brave we are. All right. And I'm like, there's nothing brave about it. It's brave to be selfish. I think that's the thing. And I think and also, I've read that book, Feel the Fear and Do It, several times in my life, right, when I've lived abroad. And for me, it's just kind of like, if I don't do it, I'd really be wasting my life, be wasting it by just sitting here doing the same thing I've done the same year, but with kids, animals, much more kind of family and friends events. It's like, no, I've just got to go and do it.
So you just want to get out there and go and live your life.
Yeah, and and explore. There's so many things, and that's once you start to go down this track and you follow all these like influencers, or they're all probably like half my age and like 3/4 of Phil's age, right? But it's kind of like there's so much out there, and for different budgets, for different experiences, and for me, it's kind of like, oh God, I bought into this, 2 kids, house, cars, job, life. And I think if I was a youngster now embarking on that journey, even with young kids, I'd probably do it completely different.
Interesting. So let's talk about for a minute because you mentioned influencers, right? So I know you've already started documenting this adventure of yours, on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Like, why are you doing that? Like, can you share why are you documenting it? Who's it for and what's it for?
Well, primarily it's for our friends and family to tell them what they're up to, because I can't keep up with WhatsApp, everybody, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because it changes every day. Secondly, it's kind of like for my kids as well, just to show them that there is a difference to life, even though they are at uni and they are, studying to get a degree. It's kind of like, oh, and this is another part of life that you can see and everything. And also because I'm in sales and marketing, I love I'm so attuned to thinking like sales and marketing. And it's really interesting the people that you meet kind of like on these social channels and what their thoughts are and what they're doing. And it's to educate me as well about what's going on out there. So I'll document me, so I'll get feedback, because somebody will say, oh, look at this. Or I've had somebody come up to me in the street in Lindos where we went like over the past 3 weeks and went, oh, you're traveling with Cara. And that was bonkers. So I was like, oh, get on my video, So, but yeah, it is uncomfortable. I know absolutely diddly squat about TikTok. So it's like, trying to be a teenager and teach myself. And it's just about learning new things as well every day. I want to learn things. And because I'm creative, it's showcasing some things in a funny, quirky way rather than just being, here's a picture of a restaurant and this is the food. And, and also, like you said, showing the warts and all, because sometimes things go tits up.
Sometimes shit happens.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't look great and, and things go wrong and it's bloody disappointing. But you know what?
But you want to show it, so you want to show the whole journey, not the gloss, not the the edited version. But
although
the
Phil
real
tells
version.
me off sometimes, he does tell me off for like, oh, did you do that? Oh my god! Especially if we've had a drink and I video record him. Thankfully, he's not so good at taking videos of me right now, right? But he will start to get revenge pretty soon, I'm sure.
I love this. And actually, what you're doing, it's like, I think for anybody, particularly empty nesters or people who are just feeling like you got to that point where it's just like, it's work, it's busy. Where's the, you're seeking you're just craving some life, some adventure. You just, I think you're going to inspire people to show that there is a different way, whether or not they can afford and they're able to do it now or maybe further down the line. It's just showing that there are different ways to live, and that, you're kind of, through what you're doing, you're giving yourself permission to be happy, to have fun, to do things in an alternative way. And I think that's quite inspirational for anybody, if people are following you and watching what you're doing, and getting the true picture, not the the tarted up one, sharing your stuff with honesty and humor. I think it'll incite people to kind of maybe just think a little about what they might want to do.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if not, who cares? Because I'm sure when me and Phil are older, we can look back and go, oh my God, do you remember that day now?
Yeah.
Or, our friends and family they can feel like they're with us.
That they're with you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than having to ring up the same person after a week going, I did that, and then ring up somebody else and say, it's there, it's in front of you, it's visual, it's always got music to it, because I love music, and it's just making it entertaining like it would be if I was chatting to him or we'd gone out,
Yeah. I love this. So can we finish off? Like, can you give an insight into, I mean, you've kind of conveyed it with your energy, but give an insight into how it feels as you step into this like new era of your life? Like, what kinds of emotions have you been experiencing?
50-50. It's really weird to give yourself permission to be happy and just to do it, and also it's kind of like, it's one life, live it, just don't care, do it. And then it's the other, it's like, recoil, should I be doing this? Am I doing the right thing? But I'd say 80% of me is not kind of like, I've never really bought into the house, the life of kind of like, this is what I should be doing because everybody else is doing it. I've gone along with it. So now it's kind of like, yay, I can just kind of like be a bit of a free spirit.
And do you, like, I think people would ask, or like people would ask, well, what about when you're done with this? Like when at some point in time, whether it's 12 months or 18 months or a number of years, like, do you have a plan for what comes after that? Or is that to be dealt with when the time comes?
You know what? With me and Phil, it's to be dealt with when the time comes. My aspiration is always just to work on a beach bar, live in a beach hut, and that's it. Be known as that British woman that lives in that beach bar, that works in that beach hut, and that is a good laugh, So,
and actually, I think I remember you saying to me that you part of doing this and packing everything up and kind of putting stuff is recognizing that you don't need a lot of stuff. Or that like, and you don't need to worry about looking a particular way or being a particular way.
No, but it's pretty weird looking at yourself now when I've been on this holiday with no makeup on because I packed my makeup by mistake. Things like that. I packed my makeup by mistake. I packed something else. Oh, my toothbrush. I packed all my electric toothbrush. So literally, I got on holiday. I was using olive oil as eye makeup remover. I was using hand soap as shampoo. And I did that actually for 3 weeks because I thought to myself, you know what, you can really live like this.
Yeah.
And so when I came back and I had to unpack some of the stuff from storage, it was really weird to have so much there. And now it's like, I don't want to unpack because I know I want to pack it all up again. And living a frugal kind of like with nothing, it's so liberating because I knew where everything was for one, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, I know where it is because I've only got one small handbag of everything with me, you know. But it was beautiful because I could focus on everything else that was outside. And because that's another thing, I want to spend more time outside. And if the weather's beautiful, you spend 80% of your time outside. If it's not, you spend 80% of your time inside watching Netflix or working or worrying. You know.
Yeah. So you're just actually being outside, being present, like just like existing with a small amount of stuff so that you're actually concentrating on your experience rather than anything else.
And meeting people, just meeting people and sharing stories and just finding out, just absolutely sucking up what their life's been about up until this point and kind of like, you know, sharing experience. It's brilliant. I love meeting people. So nice.
Honestly, well, like Cara, you've been a bundle of energy as usual, and it's been brilliant having you on the show to share like your exciting, inspiring plans. If anyone's interested in following you and Phil on your adventures with all the inevitable twists and turns and your inimitable humour, where can they find you?
So on Instagram, we're in traveling with Cara with underscores between traveling and with. And then on Facebook, it's just Traveling with Cara. And then on TikTok, which I'm still trying to master, is Traveling with Cara, but with full stops in between. So,
Great. I will put all the links in the show notes for anybody who is wants to get a peek inside your life and your adventures. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us. And I really hope that Cara's bold semi-retirement move has inspired you to think about your own future and what might feel like the ultimate adventure to you, you know, whatever that looks like. If you know anyone who would benefit from listening to this conversation and Cara's thought-provoking plan, please do share this episode. And until next time, just know that I believe in you and in your ability to identify and go after the feel-good change you seek. So go do your thing.
Thank you for listening today. I hope our time together has got you thinking about your own adventure in happiness. So please do get in touch. I'd love to hear more about your story. And why not join our Dream Chasers Unite community? There is nothing better than an adventure shared. Until next time, be brave and go create what you crave.